Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Cooking Ain't Complicated. My name is Chef Saint. Thank you for coming back and checking out another one of my videos. Today I want to talk to you about recipes that you make up on the spot when you find an ingredient that just speaks to you. And I found an ingredient that speaks to me. I'm telling you, this stuff right here, the Hot Damn Raspberry Reaper Jam. This stuff is incredibly fresh and fruity tasting, but it packs a wallop like you would not believe. I was walking through the local farmer's market and a company called Johnson Berry Farms had that for sale, and they sampled it out and it was amazing, and I knew beyond anything that I had to have it. So usually I tell you guys you could substitute one thing for another thing, or you know, if one thing isn't going to work, take it out, swap it out. Nah, in this particular case, I built this recipe around Hot Damn Raspberry Reaper Jam. The website you can go to find that at is johnsonberryfarm.com, right here. And we're also working in conjunction with my friend Mark and his podcast, Nerds Drink Whiskey. So I incorporated a little bourbon into the blend, but I got a local Gig Harbor made bourbon, brown sugar bourbon. That's fantastic. As you can see, the bottle's not entirely intact. That's on me. But today, we're going to make what I call Don't Fear the Reaper Raspberry Reaper Ribs. They're going to be fantastic. I hope you stick around and watch. Thank you for joining me. Let's get at it. Alright, so the first step of any good rib preparation, pre-seasoning, and that's what we're going to do here. So, we're going to keep it fairly simple, down to about 6 ingredients. I got 3 tablespoons of this aromatic Applewood smoked sea salt that I like to use on a lot of things. We'll pour that in there. Got a tablespoon of garlic powder. Throw that right in there. A nice heaping tablespoon of smoked Hungarian paprika. Throw that in. A teaspoon Cayenne Pepper. Not that we need to bring any heat to compete with the Reaper, but we're bringing flavor too. So, teaspoon black pepper. And 3 nice tablespoons of just regular old sugar. Now we're going to get a spoon. We're going to mix that up together until it's all nice and incorporated. And then we're just going to go ahead and pour that into this shaker. And hopefully not all over the pan before I get the ribs in there. There you go. And the rest is easy, because what we're going to do is we're going to take our baby back ribs, lay them down like that. That's why I'm wearing gloves. Don't want anyone to complain. And we're just going to sprinkle liberally over the top. And then what you want to do, you want to kind of press it into the meat to make sure that it gets in there and sticks into all the little nooks and crannies. And then we'll give it a flip. And again, get in there. Get intimate with your ribs, y'all. You're gonna be working on them for a while. There you go. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop those in the oven for 300-degree oven for about, we're gonna go an hour. They need to cook low and slow to bring them up to temperature, because when you slap them on the grill, you want them to be almost to the point of done, because you don't want to overcook them on the grill and have them just burn to a crisp or be underdone. Nobody needs trichinosis today, or botulism, or whatever else you can get. So, 300-degree oven, we're gonna check them after an hour. Coming up, we're gonna start working on making our sauce. All right, now we gotta make our sauce, the star of this show. We're gonna start with this, just because I need a drink. No, I'm just kidding. This is a Gig Harbor whiskey made by Heritage Distilling Company. Brown sugar bourbon, about 60 proof. Since we're working on Nerds Drink Whiskies Day here, we figured we'd incorporate some of that into the recipe. So, what we're gonna do is... Oh, perfect. I wanted 2 cups. I had 2 cups. I'm gonna pour that into our pan. And we're gonna start boiling that probably at around 320 to 350, so low end of the medium-high spectrum. So we throw that in there. We're gonna add a cup and a half of just regular old table ketchup. Get that in there. I don't have a brand preference. It's up to you. I got a whole head of garlic crushed in my garlic press. And throw that in there. And give that a little bit of a mix. It's going to really start looking barbecue-y here in a minute, which is exactly what we're going for, ironically enough. About 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Alright, now the star of the show. Raspberry, hot damn raspberry Reaper jam. Just gonna scoop that directly in there. You want all of it, seeds and everything. Right in there, try not to make a big splash. Okay. Go for jar number 2. And these are 10.5 ounce jars. If anyone's doing the math on that. There we go. And then lastly, what I want to do is I want to introduce a little bit of brown sugar to the mix. Now brown sugar, what that's going to do is going to dull the heat a little bit, but not overly much. I've found that when you combine this with the heat still punches, but it doesn't have the same kind of linger. It doesn't have the same kind of hang time. So we're going to do 4, 5, and we're going to go 6. 6 big heaping tablespoons. And then you just kind of want to stir it around a little bit. You don't want the sugars to burn to the bottom of the pan. You don't want anything like that. You want to keep it working, keep it mingling, and your idea behind it is you want to reduce it by probably about half. It was very liquidy, very runny right now, but we want that to be thicker as a glaze for the top of these ribs. And now for my secret ingredient. I didn't leave it out of the refrigerator to get to room temperature. That was on me, but Nice raw honey that I picked up from the berry farm. Doesn't want to come off the spoon, but big fat tablespoonful of that in there. That'll help thicken it up. It'll introduce a bit more sugar to it, but it's a natural sugar. It's a natural kick up, so I think that's going to be super, super great. My adjectives need work. Super great. See, but what I'm going for is not just a heat, because you got pepperheads out there who'll just eat heat for heat, and I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. You know, it's a thing. I want my heat to have flavor to it. I want there to be a reason behind it. And that's where all this raspberry and the sugar, brown sugar and the honey and everything comes in. It plays complementary to each other. It brings a purpose to the heat. All right, guys, I'm hot. It is ridiculously hot in this kitchen. The sauce is just about ready. We're gonna pull our ribs here in about 10 minutes. They'll be ready for their first blast of this sauce. What we're gonna do is we're gonna glaze the ribs twice before they even get to the barbecue grill. So the first glazing is gonna be front and back with our newly reduced sauce. We're gonna let it cook for about 45 minutes and then another blast of the sauce. And then we'll be good to go. We'll be ready to pack it up and head to the barbecue with our Nerds Drink Whiskey friends. Keep your sauce reducing as long as you can, as long as you need to. When I see you next, we'll be slathering them ribs with some of this lovely, lovely sweet heat. Okay, guys, it's been an hour. We've pulled our ribs out. They're looking beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We're gonna hit it with this nice, look at how thick this came out. Just wonderful. Wonderful, and I mean, and it's in the air. My cameraman and I are both extraordinarily cough happy right now, just because it has permeated the air. But that's okay, because it's delicious. This bowl is still ridiculously hot. So just give it a nice coat over the top, and then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to brush it again. Just flip it over and we're going to brush it again. Make sure that coat is nice and even. Hit all those little nooks and crannies. That's why I like to use the silicone brush. Not to mention, have you tried cleaning those paintbrush ones? If they get something sticky in them, it's a nightmare. Slather that in there. Now, a lot of people made fun of me when I said don't rub your eyes with the peppers on your hands, but I'm serious, guys. If you rub your eyes with this stuff on your hands, you will die. Give those a nice little flip. Now we're going to throw it back in the oven for another 45 minutes. Same temperature, 300 degrees. And then we're going to pull them out and we're going to baste them again. We'll see you then. Now for round 2. As you can see, they're starting to get nicely cooked, which is the goal. We don't want it to cook too much on the grill or it'll burn. But we want to make sure that we don't overcook it in the oven at the same time. Take a look at that. Oh, the smell is indescribable, you guys. So good. We're gonna give it its second coat here. And then we're gonna throw it back in the oven for another half hour. Just to kind of really bake on that second coat. We're gonna package it up, get ready to go to the Nerds Drink Whiskey barbecue event. And then we're going to while that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy accompanying side item for it. Boom, just the hell like that. Sauce is nice and thick. Just exactly what we're looking for. So pop that back in the oven, 300 degrees again. 30 minutes, 25-30 minutes. We're not really looking to cook at this point. Right now we're just kind of looking to, at this point, finish the glaze set. So it's going to finish cooking the rest of the way on the grill. So don't go anywhere. We're not cutting this scene. We're going to just keep rolling. Back in the oven. Now, what we want is a super simple side item that can accompany this onto the grill. So what we're going to do, I got some chives, those are for later. What we need right now is this nice fresh dill. I use dill a lot. There's nothing wrong with that, it's beautiful. Bread knife, won't work. There we are. We got some room temp butter. And then I found these amazing potato marbles. They're like your fingerling potatoes. You got your purple, you got your Yukon Gold, you got your red dill, or your red new potato style. Super, super colorful, delicious. And this position is so easy. I use the heavy duty Reynolds wrap because it is exactly as it says, heavy duty, enough to give you a cut if you wipe your finger on it too hard, as I found out earlier today. So here's all we're gonna do with that. We're gonna take these potatoes, gonna kind of create a little packet out of this foil. I'm gonna dump those right in there. Just like that. I'm gonna cut some of this dill up. Nothing specific. Just get the little fronds off of it. It looks like a tiny fern. We don't want to use the stems, really. Sprinkle that liberally in there. I got 2 sticks of just your regular old salted butter. Plunk that right down there. The French have a cooking term called en papillot. And basically that means in an envelope. And they use it to cook fish, primarily. But I like to use it for things like vegetables. Because what you can do is you create this foil pouch like this. And you can toss that right on the grill. And it seals up enough to where the steam from the potatoes as they cook will steam the potatoes while they're in there cooking them. The butter will melt, and so the butter will incorporate into the potatoes as well. And then of course the dill is just there to be dill. But check this out. It's a nice foil package. You toss it right on the grill like that. Give it a flip halfway through. It's gonna be magical. I cannot wait. So, next step, we'll see you at the barbecue, baby. I can't wait, I'm excited. See you there. All right, welcome back. We're at my friend Mark Karras' house for his Nerds Drink Whiskey barbecue event. And we've got the grill nice and hot. About 425, close to 450 degrees. This is a sweet grill. I'm ready to buy one, trust me. My wife don't want to hear that, but that's what's gonna happen. So we got our foil pack of our potatoes, butter, and dill. We're just gonna kind of toss that right there, let it do its thing. And we're gonna bring out the Reaper ribs. Look at these bad boys. Oh, and that's the sound you want to hear, guys. We got the second rack here. We're gonna let that sit on this 425-degree platform here for probably about 5 minutes before we check on it. We're gonna close this up and let the heat take over. We'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and flip and baste these bad boys. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. I'm gonna throw a little bit of this rub on there. It's a good thing I don't have a car that I can fit this grill in, because I would take it home with me. It's that good. So we just take our sauce and we're gonna hit it up just like that. And now that it's over an open flame, it's going to start caramelizing and giving us that nice char that we're looking for. Try not to burn these gloves onto my hand. Ridiculously hot grill, but I love it. Give that a flip. Oh, see, look at that char. Perfect. And flip your little package of potatoes. You're gonna get a little bit of a flare up from that because of the butter, but don't worry about it too much. We'll be good to go probably in about 3 minutes. Catch you in 3 for the final plate up. Okay, so now we've got it off the grill. Let's plate it up. Let's get this bad boy rolling. Got some of our lovely dill potatoes. Turned out fantastic. Just like that. And now the star of the show. Move these over here. Tender and delicious. Take a look at that. Wonderful. Got a little bit of raspberries for a little decoration, since that's what's inspired here. And there you have it, guys. Don't fear the Reaper, raspberry Carolina Reaper baby back ribs. I'm glad you could join us today for our Nerds Drink Whiskey collaborative episode. I want to thank you for joining us again. And remember what I always tell you guys, food is an art form. You just get to eat it when you're done. We'll see you next week.
All right, hey everybody, Nerds Drink Whiskey. This is a crossover episode. You may be watching this and it's an episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey, or you may be watching this and it's part of Cooking Ain't Complicated with Chef Saint. So we've got some ribs that we're pairing with a local distillery, Skip Rock Distillery. This is what is it, 103 proof rye that I got at the whiskey gathering, the South Sound Distillers Gathering at the Olympia Airport Museum, and we're going to mix that with Kevin's ribs. So why don't, before we imbibe, why don't you, while we're trying your ribs, why don't you explain to us the local connections of your ribs. Absolutely. And how well you think this is going to, why you think this is going to pair well with this whiskey?
Well, I try to source my things locally as much as possible. So I was at the farmer's market and I came across Johnson Berry Farms Raspberry Reaper Jam. Now it's made out of Reaper peppers, raspberries. It's all very fresh, very local. And so I kind of turned it into its own sauce. I decided to make a rib out of it on the spot. I used a little BSB, brown sugar bourbon, with that. I believe episode 65. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
from Heritage Distilling, our good friends at Heritage.
Right, Gig Harbor, Washington. Paired that in there, a little raspberry mix, got some green onions to finish, brown sugar, ketchup. It's all very simple to make, or as I say, it's not complicated. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole get-up of my show, is cooking ain't complicated. So you find nice locally sourced products, you use them, and you guys are eating. I know what this tastes like. I'm gonna give this a nice little taste and tell you exactly how it pairs. Oh, see, that's nice. It's very smoky. Mm-hmm. Adds well with the barbecue taste of everything. Nice warmth that dances on your tongue, especially after you've had a little Reaper action. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh my God! between the ribs and that rye, that's just right up the alley, dude. That's right in the pocket.
Reaper and rye, baby.
That's good stuff.
Do you have any idea where the Reaper chilies fall on the Scoville scale?
The last time I checked, I believe it was around 2,200,000 for a Reaper pepper on the Scoville scale.
And,
so it's hot.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, habanero is about 300,000,
Give or take, yeah.
300 to 400.
I want to say about 300 to 400. Yeah. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. We got Google for that.
Right. So now, these guys are eating the Reaper ribs. I'm very anti pepper. I've got non-Reaper ribs.
Absolutely.
So if your ribs sucked, and if you were trying to hide your lack of flavoring with the Reaper, then these would be bland and boring, and they are not.
And the Reaper chilies, they're not like, they don't hit you initially. They're a slow burn.
It's a slow, yeah. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
You get all the normal flavors. You get all, like, so you taste it. You get the raspberry. You get the brown sugar, and then you need the water. But you get all this stuff first. So yeah, and man, it goes really well with this rye.
Yes, it does.
I'm gonna try it out again now.
When it comes down to it, these are some of the most delicious ribs I've ever had, especially with a pairing of good rye whiskey like this. I can't help it, man. I'm in love already. This is great. Bring on some more, please.
I got plenty.
So
awesome.
Yeah, and so anyways, we will see you back next week. Kevin, thank you very much for being part of our relaunch episode.